Hey everybody. Howdy. All right. Welcome. This is my first live stream of this new series that I'm doing called Shop Talk, where we talk shop about all things related to guitar, composing, arranging, equipment, all kinds of cool stuff. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting started. And yeah, so if you are watching, let me know on the chat bar that you're here. Feel free to join in, ask any questions that you might have, and I'll be happy to answer them. So yeah, here we go. And so for our first week of doing this shop talk, I'm going to be looking at this here guitar. It is a Dan Electro baby sitar. Dig it, check it out. And it sounds like this. Or how about this one? Hey, Lewis. Let's see. Yeah, so that's just a quick little vibe there with a couple of songs. Although the Over, Under, Sideways, Down did not, by the Yardbirds, did not actually have a sitar in it. Although Jeff Beck was imitating the sitar. Apparently, the story goes from him that they brought a sitar player in, and the sitar player was having trouble following the rhythm of the song, and so Jeff said, I can play that on the guitar. And in the 1960s, with all the psychedelic stuff and Ravi Shankar, the sitar became like a feature in popular music. People wanted to hear it. And so there was a company, and Dan Electro made guitars mostly for catalog companies like Sears under the Silvertone brand. And this guy, Vinnie Bell, who was a famous studio musician, he wanted to have a sitar, that was like a guitar, but that he could play on sessions and emulate the sound of a sitar. So he came up with this crazy idea, and the two of them together put this together, and out it came. Now, I never saw one of these in the 60s. Apparently they did make these. This is a sort of reissue, and I think they only made like 100 of these, but they did make this other guitar, another sitar, and they called it the Coral electric sitar, and I actually owned one of those. And here's a couple of pictures that I have of this. Let me see here if I could find one. Not that. There. Okay, how about this? Bam. There you go. So here it is, the Coral electric sitar. Dig it. All right. And there's the name, Coral Sitar. And they called this Red Crackle, the paint, Red Crackle. And you can see it's a 6-string guitar. It's got a bunch of sympathetic strings over here, tons of knobs. Basically for the 3 pickups, each pickup had a volume and a tone. And also, these pickups, well, here, I think I got a closer up look that we could check out. Let's see, let me come over here. Yeah, so here's the pickups. There's a couple of them here. And as you can see, there's a cut right in the middle here of the pickup. And these pickups were actually old lipstick cases from the 50s that some factory had manufactured lipstick and then had, for whatever reason, was overstocked, and Dan Electro bought them out and stuck his pickups, you know, the 2 magnets that are wrapped in wire, and shoved it in this lipstick case. And so the term, when you see these pickups, you know, the slang term is lipstick pickups, but they truly were, in the beginning, made from lipstick cases. Now, this is an original, early, or should I say mid, I think like 67 Coral electric sitar. And let me just quickly talk about this big hunk of metal here, because this is what gives the guitar its sound. Now, the guitar that I had, the intonation was terrible. You could never really, you could never really tune the thing. It was just never, like if you had this G was in tune, and if you went up to here, not even close. It wouldn't, it wouldn't be in tune. There was no intonation. And if you go back and look at this bridge again, you can see why. It's just this big slab of metal, and it's slightly curved, so the strings buzz as they lay across this. But as far as having any intonation, pretty much was non-existent. Now, if we fast forward to the new guitar here, if you take a look at this, the new bridge, let me get a nice clear shot of it there. Let's see, there you go. That new bridge is made out of plastic, and you can see it's much more intonated for the strings, where basically the lower strings are longer, the thicker strings, the bass strings are longer, and the treble strings are shorter. So it's much better at approximating the tonality, like way, way, way better. To me, it immediately makes this guitar much more usable than this guitar, And when I would do sessions or recordings with this, I used to tune it to the area of the neck that, like, I was going to play. I would tune it there to that area. So, so there you go. That's the bridge, the complete secret of the sound of these instruments. And then, like I said, each pickup had a volume and a tone. And the new version, it's basically the same thing. There's one volume and one tone. I guess I should talk about the finish too, that red crackle finish, you can still get it. This is a brown burst, and you can spend, I think, another extra $100 or $200 and get the red crackle, which personally I was never crazy about. Anytime that you cover wood, the tendency to use crappy wood is easier because you're not going to see the wood. If you get a guitar with a clear finish like this, you basically see the wood. So I'm sort of a fan of more clear type finishes. Although I will show you that here on the side, if you look, it's sort of like wrapped in like this vinyl stuff, which is not bad either. I mean, it looks pretty cool. And the back is nice. So I think the wood used on this is superior to the wood on the other. I couldn't really find out much info on the wood of the original, other than it said that the body was poplar. And I don't know if the new one is poplar, but definitely it said the old ones were made out of this poplar wood. Now, let's take a look at these sympathetic strings up here. Now, in trying to imitate the sitar has these drone strings. And this guitar has these, what they call sympathetic strings, but they never really droned. And so what most people did was you would tune these to some kind of wacko scale, you know, and then you would just sort of like rake, you know, you would rake your pick over them, you know, except these were little tiny strings, so it would be tuned very high, and it was a cool sound. Now, these guitars also came with gigantic pick guards. Like you could see one, you know, they would go there, they would sit over here. So there was a pick guard covering this, there was a pick guard over here, and there's another hole for the pick guard over there. And when I got this guitar, it didn't have any pick guards on it, which was a big issue because these little sharp guys over here used to dig into my wrist all the time, or my arm. It was so annoying. These would dig into me. And up here, these tuners is very much like piano tuners, where like you had to get out a wrench and you had to like twist these to tune this. So it wasn't like, you know, Schaller tuners or, you know, anything like that. And the neck, I'm not sure what this neck was made out of, but I could tell you that it definitely was not made out of the best wood. I mean, look over here on the back. You know, they would bring the neck up and hack it off here and add this. And this certainly, to me, does not look like any kind of high quality wood. I think the neck, it's hard, you know, again, on this one, on the new one, it's sort of hard to see what the neck is made out of because it's spray painted black. Although it is, I guess over here it's not. So it sort of looks maple-ish. Could be a maple neck. You know, maple is a fairly inexpensive hardwood and is used on necks quite often. So I would assume that this is probably a maple neck, and sort of looks like a rosewood fingerboard, but not really. I don't know. But you know, if we're comparing these two guitars to each other, you know, the original Coral electric sitar, if you were to try and get your hands on one today, it would probably cost you between $3,000 and $5,000, depending on the condition that it's in. This guitar I got on sale. They were like blowing them out, and I think I got this for $399, which is very close to what I paid for my Coral electric sitar back in, gee, I must have bought it in the early 70s. I bought it secondhand for like $300. You know, they fell out of style, and so once something falls out of style, you can get it relatively cheap. But then, of course, the whole nostalgia thing came, and they came back in style. So, so here, you'll notice I'm going to do some more demonstrating on this guitar, but I haven't done a thing to it. When I got this guitar, I literally took it out of the case, although it didn't even really come with a case. I took it out of the cardboard box, and I just tuned it up and I played it, you know. And so I was very, I have to say, I was very impressed that this guitar stays in tune much better. It's much more intonated. The neck is much more user friendly, and I have to say that the attention to detail on the guitar is, I think, really good. The fit and everything is nice. The frets are not sticking out. The action is low. You know, not too low, but it's nice. It's playable. And it's a pleasing sound. Now, I have this running through Logic, and so I have some compression on there to even it out. And of course, you could hear that I got some Verb like a cathedral kind of reverb on there. And the reason why I did that is just, for myself, this is what I associate the sound of these guitars with. Most of the time was this sort of like reverby, mysterioso kind of thing. Also, I saw somebody say something about, oh, this thing looks like a thermometer, because look at the headstock is quite hysterical. But really, what this is trying to look like is a sitar. If you've ever seen an actual sitar, this is sort of the shape of the sitar. Now, if you look at the original choral electric sitar, to me, this looks much more like, I used to say it looked like a map of the United States. I mean, that body really looks like, the Gulf of Mexico and Florida and the West Coast and Canada up there. And yeah, so I don't know what they were going for with the, with this guitar. Obviously, this giant cutout here was to set it on your leg, but I just always said this thing looked like a map of America. And yeah. I guess another thing I should say is that this has 21 frets. And I don't even remember how many frets the other one had, because you could just never play it up there. 15, 17, 19, 21. Wait, let's see. That's 12, 15, 17, 19. Yeah, it had 21. Yep. So same amount of frets, but Lord knows I would never play it up here. And even this guitar, when you get above the 12th fret, it's sonically so different than below. But not bad though, it's really, I wouldn't say it's unplayable up there. It's definitely playable, but I wouldn't say that is sort of like its bread and butter range. I would say down in the mid-range is sort of its bread and butter range. So let me give this thing a little workout here for you. And I put a couple of songs on my phone here. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm gonna come over here to my iTunes. I think I created a little playlist for us here. There it is. And I'm gonna start with a song that it's a really pretty song called Nocturne. And Julian Lage is the guy that kind of brought this tune back, and I just love it. And so I'm just going to play the melody to this song for you so you can check it out. So let me know what you think. All right, here we go. Bam. Yeah, so there you go. Really pretty sounding, mellow and in tune, good. And let's see what else I got on here so I could put this thing through some paces for you. Let's see. Here's one that's let me do a minor thing. Here's something in G minor. Very smooth. Nice in tune. Yeah. Nice. In tune, again, easy to play. Let's see what else I got on here. Boom, boom, boom. I got something real majory. This is all in C, basically. Here we go. Yeah, little C major stuff there to dig. And yeah, so plays like a dream. So what's the bottom line here? Is this a yay or a nay? Is this a, should I buy this? Should I take a pass on it? Well, I'll tell you this. I think for the money, it's definitely worth it. I would say watch for sales. That's how I came across this, is that there was a company doing what they called a blowout sale. So I would say if you're interested in getting one, wait for a blowout sale, and then get yourself one. And that's what I did. Is it worth it? Absolutely. for vintage people that are like, oh, I'm really into the real thing, I could tell you, I had the real thing. This is way, way better and 1/10 the cost, and it's much more playable, much more playable, and you don't need all the sympathetic strings and all that stuff. Personally, it was just like an effect that you would throw in. Do you need the different pickups for all the different tones? Not really. I think that this all works very well, and where the pickup is situated, you're able to get all your harmonics. Not that you would use harmonics on a sitar, but it helps you with tuning it and whatever. And so it's good. It's got what I would call a C-shape neck, and it's fast and thin, and you can reach every single fret with the tiniest of hands, and it's cool. I definitely recommend it. And that's our shop talk for this week. The Dan Electro Baby Sitar. And thanks. Oh, and before we go, just to let you know, next week, we're going to take a look at this bad boy right over here. Let me switch to the other camera. Bam! What do you think of that right there? That is my Boss RC20. My looper. And so, XL. Oh, RC20 XL. I didn't know it was XL. But that's what we're going to be looking at next week, is going to be this little looper here. And that should be fun. I'll talk all about how it works, how you do looping in general. And yeah, I guess that's it for this week. So until next time, peace. And see ya. All right. Oh, I should go to here. What do you think about this? Bam. Yes. Thank you for watching. All right. Until next time, like I said, wish you love, peace, and chicken grease.